Hello guys, and welcome back to the Rising Tide. Now in this video, I'll be showing you how to integrate Google Maps service and general maps into your React Native application. So as you can see here, I have a React Native application with the Google Maps set to this default location. So I'll be showing you how to integrate a map like this. I'll also be showing you how to get your current location, and when you focus on it, for instance, when you click on this button, it is going to move to your current location. That is going to get your location, and it's going to navigate to your location. So as you can see here, this is my current location. I am somewhere in Cameroon right now. So this is what I'll be doing in this video. I'll also be showing you some customizations for this, such as changing this marker to something else, a custom image. I'll also be showing you how to add call outs and other functionalities. So if that's interesting to you, please subscribe to the channel and let's get started. Alright, so here I have a simple React Native project with just a single component inside called map. Now if you check out this map component, which is this one here, you're going to see it's just an empty component with a text inside. Now the other thing I added to the project was this image of me, which I'm going to be using for our custom marker. So I'm going to be using this picture of myself, so you can use any image you want. So that's everything we did for this project. We're going to come back to this map component, and we're going to add some styles to this view. So we'll say now style, I'll set it to styles.container, and in here we're just going to give you some basic styles for the container. So I'm just going to copy these styles. Okay, so this is like the basic style, like the same as the one you have in your default app. So that's what I use. The next thing you need to do is you need to install the library for the maps. So I'm going to open my terminal, open a new terminal by pressing Ctrl Shift and the tilt button, this button up there. Yeah, so here I'm just going to now run the command yarn add and the name of the package. The first one you need is a React Native map directions and React Native maps. So these are the two libraries you are using in this project. One is for directions and one is just for rendering the map. So in the next video, I may also do a video on how to use Google Directions in the same project. So this may be a two-part series. I'm just going to hit enter, and that's going to start installing the packages for our project. Now I already have this installed in the project already, so I'm just going to close this. Now exit this and we'll go back to our project. Let me close this window. Alright, so here the next thing we need to do is import the maps into our project. So just need to come here and say MapView. And inside the MapView now you can pass in a list of properties here to clearly define your map. An example is you have the initial region, which is going to be a dictionary. Here we're going to pass in the default latitude and longitude for our project for our project to load. So I'm just going to remove this here, and before that, let's just create some state. The first thing I need to create is the initial location. So I'm just going to say const initial location, and I'm going to set it to a dictionary. Here just say the latitude and the longitude to be these values here. Just remove these values from here. So so down here we're going to replace these static values with the initial location values. So we can just directly pass in the initial locations, the latitude and the longitude, but I want to create a state because we need to change this dynamically as our app loads. So I'll still come back up here and I'll create a new state. So I'll say use state, and let me zoom in a bit and I'll minimize this terminal. Alright, the first state is just going to be called my location, and I'm going to set it to be equal to this initial location. So I need to move that down. All right, so set the my location to this initial location, and down here we just need to remove this value and set it to my location dot longitude dot latitude, and for this one we'll do the same thing, so it'll be my location dot latitude, sorry, longitude rather. So this latitude delta and longitude delta refers to how much zoom you want to have on our app. So I'm just going to use this default one from the documentation. So you can change this to however whichever value you want based on the zoom that you want to have, like the levels, right? So I'm just going to save that now, and that is just going to generate a default map for me. To pass in the map provider, so we need to come down here and we'll pass in the provider. And here there are several types of providers, but the one we use for this project is just the Google Maps. And up here we need to pass in some styles for the map, so we're just going to say style to be styles.map, and inside our style sheet I'll just set the map to, because right now the map is displaying but it doesn't have a width and height property, so we need to pass that in. So we need to set the width and the height to 100%. Oh, okay. It appears the map is not view displaying, so we just need to change that to display a different display that a different way. So I'm just going to come here and I'll set it to dimension. That's the window dimensions that we're going to get the window width and display it here. And for this other one, we're going to do a similar thing. So we'll set dimension to get the window height and display it as well. So that is going to give this map the width and height of the screen. So as you can see now, so right now it is showing San Francisco. This is because this was that default latitude and longitude. So this is the initial location that is being displayed. So coming back to our map, so this is like everything we need to do to set up the map. So what we need to do now is set up some default markers for our map. Before setting default markers, we need to first of all make sure that we have access to the users the user has given access to requests for their location. So I'm going to come here, and down here I'm just going to create a use effect hook, import the use effect, and now I'll generate this skeleton for the use effect hook. And all I'm going to just do here is saying get location. So get location, and we're going to create a function down here. So it's a const get location. So since this is requesting a user's location, we need to make sure it is async. So I'm going to come here and I'll say async. And in here, one other thing we use for to request for location is we actually use expo-location, which I forgot to install. So to install that, just go back to your terminal and you run yarn add expo-location. This is to get the user's location. This one is more accurate than using navigator.geolocation, or that step-by-step process. So just click enter, and that's going to install this library for you. So back here, we're going to wrap everything in a try catch block to make sure the app doesn't crash. So I'm going to say try, and if there's an error, you just catch the error and then you warn the user. So I'm just going to say console.warn the error. So inside the try block, we're going to now request the user's location. So we're going to say let status. So we need to check if the user has granted that access. So that is going to be called status inside this location.get request location from permission async. So we need to import this location hook. So I'm going to come here and I'll say import everything as location from expo-location, and that's going to that's what we're going to call here. So down here we're now going to check if the location is granted. So we're going to say if the status is granted. If the status is granted, if not is not granted, we're just going to warn the user that the location has not been granted, or you can handle this whichever way you want. Maybe you can use that navigator to geolocation, or whichever means you want to handle the permission denied. So however, we're going to now check if, or what happens if the permission is not rejected. So we're going to say let the location be equal to, now we're going to await the location, and we're going to get the current location, current position async. So this was going to get the user's location, and after getting the user's location, you're just going to set the location. So we're just going to say set the my location, which is this hook we created up here, this my location hook. We're just going to set it to the location coordinate. So say location dot coordinates. That's going to set the current location of the user. So now, all right, down here we're going to create our custom markers now. So if you hadn't granted permission to your application yet, right now you're going to see a pop-up asking you to allow access to allow your app to use your location. So if you hadn't granted a location before, you're going to see that model now. Down here, let's just create some default markers for our application. So the first one we need to do is we need to come in and set some default pin. So we're just going to create a use state hook. Now we're going to set it to pin and set not permission pin. I'll set it to an empty object. And down here, we're just going to just set the set pin to that initial location as well. So inside this application now, we're going to check if there's a pin location. So we're going to say if pin latitude and longitude. We're now just going to create a marker. So we're just going to set call it marker directly. And here we're just going to render this. All right, so now we're just passing the coordinates for the marker, which is the pin, the latitude and the longitude. We can set the location to, let's just call this one default location. And down here a description, which is optional. You can set this one or not, it is completely optional. And when we save that, we're going to see a pin on that our default location. Hopefully we imported marker. Let's see. All right, marker has been imported. All right, so I noticed that what we needed to do is we needed to set this pin, this initial pin, to a string. So what I did is I created a variable, say con local. I just call it anything, and you set it to be equal to this exact same object. So instead of having floating point numbers, we're going to set them to string. So we're going to set this to string. So you can set this location to be any initial location you want, maybe your company address or any location that you want to show by default on the app when the app loads. So I'm just going to copy this local, and instead of setting this to initial location, I'm going to set it to this variable local here. So down here we're going to change this thing to not shape pin, but say first we're going to set the longitude to pass in, and let me just pass this in and then you render it. So if we save that now and we come back to our map, so let's try to zoom out. So how you zoom out on an emulator is you press Ctrl and you click, and then as you're dragging in, it's going to zoom out. Let's zoom out a bit more. I had to change this location for this value to a different value before changing it back for this to display. I don't know why that is. Perhaps if you restart the application, it's going to display for you. So you can play around with this location, change it to whichever location you want, and that is going to remain there for fixed. So now remember we actually did get the user's location from here. So we set the location. So down here we're going to create a marker for that as well. So we're going to come here, and similar to this, in fact, let's just duplicate this one up, and up here for this first one we're going to see if there's my location, there's my location latitude and longitude. So for this one, we don't need to parse it. We just need to just call the my location, the longitude and latitude, and what we can remove this. And for this one, it is also my location longitude. So we save that, and that's going to create a pointer for our current location, a marker for our current location. So if I try to zoom out, let me zoom out. Okay. Oh, for some reason the emulator is telling me that my location is somewhere here. So let me change this title to show the title of the location. So change it to say my current location, and we save that. I got to check the log to see if after getting the location, it is actually the location that is being gotten. So we'll come here and I'm just going to log this location variable. So just call it location, not location code. So let's check the logs to see. So all right, so this is the location, and then this is the coordinates object. It is what we're actually saving inside of this my location variable, this object here. So this is everything about the object, and then you have this other attribute here. So as you can see, it is not actually getting my actual location because I am not in this location. I am somewhere else very close to home in Africa, which is if you run it on your device, on your phone, actually it's going to give you an accurate location. I don't know why that is displaying like that. So let's just reload the application, and as you can see here, while the application is loading, I also wanted to make mention of the fact that this title field here is also very important. As you have seen, it is what gets shown when you click on the pin. For instance, on this pin here, you see it is showing Tank Hill and all of these are markers. So this my location is a title for this location that is going to show on the marker. So it's really helpful for Google to recognize that location. So you might want to keep that inside. However, description is not very important because it just describes what is being carried out at that particular location. So you can remove it. But the title field is very important. The next thing we need to do now is create the buttons to get our actual location. So down here under this map, we're going to just create a simple view here. We'll style it with the style of button container. Now, since we're not trying to create a button, we're just going to create a simple button. That's just going to say the title should be get location, and on press, we're just going to call focus on location. We're going to create this function up here. So back to the top, after get location, we're just going to create a function now. Alright, so I'm just going to copy some styles for that custom button and paste it in because we don't have a lot of time to design buttons. It says something doesn't exist. Alright, this is supposed to say styles, not what this word is. So it says styles. And down here, we're just going to paste in the styles for our button and save it. So this is the button that is being displayed down here. So what we want to do is we want to go to a particular location when the user clicks on that button. So we're going to come back here to the top, and up here, the first thing we do, we'll check if there's a pin latitude and longitude. So if we say if pin dot latitude and longitude, the next thing we're going to say is const region is equal to, set it to an object. So set it to latitude. We'll set the latitude to be pass the pin latitude and we'll set the longitude as well. So we'll set longitude to a longitude as well, and also passing the deltas. So these are like what I mentioned before, the street level, the map zoom rather. So after setting this region, we're just going to come down here and we'll say not set my location. Since we want to animate the map, like we don't want it to just move to just blink to the other, we don't want it to transition. So we'll come here and we'll set a ref to do that. So we'll say if map ref, which we're going to create in a minute. So let's create that. Up here I'm going to create a use ref. So I'll say map ref is equal to react.use ref, not create ref. So react.use ref, and down here we're going to check if map ref.current. We will set the map ref to animate to that current location. So we're going to set it to animate in 1 second, not 2 seconds. 2 seconds is very long. And inside this our map view, we're going to replace all of this with first we're going to pass in the region, and we'll set it to a state called region, which we're going to create in a minute, and we'll set on region change complete. We're just going to set call function to set region state. So set region, and finally you just need to pass in the ref and set it to map ref. So up here, let's create the state for region. So I'll come up here and I'll say use state, and I'll set the region. Now we're just going to set the region by default to null. So if we save that, and I believe that is everything we need for our transition. So if I click on get location now, I noticed some errors in the code I wrote. For instance, I spelled latitude wrongly. It was latitude, not latitude, so that's why it wasn't animating. I also changed the location to not the pin's location, but my own current location. So if you click on the button now, it is now going to animate you to your current location. So if I zoom, if I change my location to someplace down here and I click on get location, it's going to transition to that location. So that is very, very good. So that is how you create your own custom marker that gets your location. Like I said, this is not my location. This is something that is generated by the emulator. I believe it is because this is what I said when I was installing my Ubuntu, but this is not my actual location. I am located somewhere in Africa, so I don't know why that is like that. Right now, as you can see, this is the location that we're getting. Now I want to change this marker to show our own custom marker. So what we do is we're just going to comment out this code, and down here we're just going to before commenting it, let's first of all duplicate it and then comment the old one. Inside here we want to just change this to a custom marker, so we'll call it custom marker, and we're going to create this file here. So we'll come to our panel and we'll create a file called custom marker.js. I'm just going to copy the code for this file and paste it in because this tutorial is getting too long, and I'll paste it in here. Now with this, our custom marker is just a simple component that behaves like our normal marker. So it takes in the coordinates, the title, and the image that you want to display. So back to our component here, I'm just going to remove this description since, like I said, it's not important, and I'll pass in the image. I'll set the image to require an image from my computer, which is the logo that is inside this current directory, like I mentioned. So it is called dp.png, JPEG. So this image that I earlier mentioned, which is a picture of me. So that's what we're going to do there. So we save that, and we come here. Right, we're supposed to import it, so let's save this one first. We save this custom marker, and back into our app.js we're going to import it. So say import custom marker, and that should resolve that error. So As you can see now, we are having a custom marker. This thing is my internet connection is not really the best, so it's taking a little bit longer to load. All right, so this is our marker that is just very huge and occupying the whole space. So coming back to this component, let me explain how I created it. So it is basically a similar marker as your normal marker. Instead, but here we pass in the coordinates. Here I placed in my actual location, but you can pass in this coordinate file that you're getting from these objects. So you can just pass in coordinate or latitude and coordinate or longitude for your own. But since mine is not getting the current location, so I'm just giving it my actual location, which is this coordinate. All right. So down here you can see we're just passing in a view that is used to wrap the image. So I'm giving it a star. This is because the image may be uncontrollable. Like as you can see here, mine is really big. It's really big image. So you want to give it this container so that you're able to style it and be able to control it. So this is our image, and then for the tooltip is just that title. So this is what is going to show up like a normal title that we have for our normal component. So down here I'm going to uncomment the styles here. So for the styles, it's just the first one is the container, which just sets the width and height of the container wrapping the marker to 60 and set it to absolute and give it this custom style. And then now for the image, just set it to be 100% and set the border radius to be this huge, which I don't know why I created it to be that huge. So that is now going to render our marker on the screen. For some reason it is not being displayed, so let me comment this, and down here I'll set the background of blue to it, and I'll remove this position absolute property to see where it's going to display. Alright, so this is it. It is being displayed as a semicircle for some reason. So let's make this smaller. So come up here and I'll set it to 30 by 30, and alright, so that is our marker being displayed. You can now render your image inside. So I'm just going to uncomment this image, and that should resolve that. I'm not sure this border radius is even important. Alright, so that is it showing my location here. I am in Cameroon actually. So that is everything you need to know about creating a custom marker for your application. Oh, see now it has an overflow, so we need to hide that. So up here we're just going to set an overflow property to hidden to remove this overflow on the marker. So let's try to zoom in. Alright, so that is our marker being displayed as you can see it there. So I click on get location now. Normally it's supposed to come to this location where I'm at, but like I said, it is showing me a different location. So now it's going to animate to that other location here, somewhere in the US. So that is how you create and animate your custom marker in React Native. So this right here should be displayed back so that we can see how it looks. Alright, now like I said, there are other attributes you can pass into this map to make it the functionality more interesting. You can also have Google's direction API to use to get the direction from point A to point B. For instance, if this is my actual location and I want to go to this library here, you're able to use Google's direction API to show you the shortest path or the normal path you can use, just like how Google Maps works. So if you like this video, please comment on it and let me know if you want to see another video on the direction API and everything else. So please like and share, and also subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.